Chud the Builder, aka the viral racist streamer who was recently arrested and might be facing some serious jail or even prison time because he decided to pull the trigger after a black man confronted and attacked him after he, would go viral once in a while for saying, racial slurs and telling people that they chimp out and things like this.
Learn how to ask.
Why are you acting like a now?
Acting like a what?
You heard me. Sit down.
Oh, sit down. If I stand up, what's the
Come on. Come chimp over here.
Chud the Builder is facing a pretty rough patch right about now in his life, and it does not help the fact that he was recently exposed for dating trans women.
Yeah, so last year, May 2025, I Chud the Builder.
This is coming from Shamu, who is a content creator, a commentary-ish channel over here on YouTube. Highly recommend you guys check out his content, saying Chud the Builder has been exposed for allegedly dating a trans woman in March of 2025. Photos of them kissing and multiple leaked text messages about wanting to be with trans women because they are more feminine, which is like pretty wild. Not really sure how that works out and whatnot, but again, I'm not against the trans community. I'm sure there's some of you nuggets out there, viewers of mine, subscribers of mine who are trans, and I'm glad you're here, right? I support you. I personally am into what you would say the cis women and whatnot, but Chud has his type. The only reason why this is content is because Chud the Builder has created this like persona of being like this super, pretty much white dude who doesn't really like other people of color and goes viral once in a while for doing that and, causing fights with these people of color and whatnot. And to see that this man is involving himself with trans women and dating trans women and even saying comments like they're more feminine, it's just very interesting to add to the pile of like other content and other things that he's going viral for. And
These women and femboys, they're the only people who want to act feminine. He sent me these texts with his baby mama, who was Latina, months later after a date. She said, "Go live happily ever after with a dude. Get him, girl." And then he said, back in the day, when women were made to be feminine, that's when society was the best and the least gay shit occurred. Every time women get out of hand, the facts go back to the Roman days and dudes who are more femme than their fat girlfriends are. Women are so manly, dudes would rather fuck a femboy than come home to their GF. Bitches who act like dudes will call men gay for fucking femboys who are more feminine than they are, in quotes.
How dare you not want to come home and man with a pussy?
Sorry babe, I'd rather fuck a girl with a dick than an N-word with a mid pussy like yours. Cry laughing emoji.
so yeah, pretty interesting comments. Not the straightest thing a man like Chud the Builder could say again. It's comedy to the point that this man has created and cultivated an audience of like pretty vile people, right? If you were following Chud from like the beginning of him growing on the internet, you might have seen a video or two of his and be like, you know what, this guy's kind of doing something. I kind of understand like the free speech thing he's got going on. It very quickly became a race thing. It very quickly became just a guy being able to get away with being racist to people and claiming it's like, public or free speech, whatever, and then, pulling a weapon or threatening a weapon and saying, it's defending myself, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, we see how that has come to play as, Chud ended up shooting someone. Thankfully, that person's still alive from what I know. And Chud is also still alive, but he might be facing quite some time in prison. Either way, there's a bit of evidence that ended up dropping relating to this relationship. The kissing photo was run through AI detector, which determined that it may not be AI or a deepfake. And for even more evidence, this is someone finding their Instagram page and they're scrolling through it. TS Baby Jane, right? 2 years on HRT. It is 9 photos in this album. And photo number 8 is her with Chud the Builder, right? You can zoom in on it. This is their page. This isn't some like crazy AI Photoshop, right? That is clearly Chud the Builder's little mustache. There's his hair. The allegations are starting to come into play. There are photos floating around of, Chud wearing a little dress and dressing like a fairy, and there's allegations of him, being on Grindr and, taking it up the keister. It doesn't seem like these are allegations, and that's fine, right? Like, there's no problem with a dude liking trans women or liking men. I think there are even people in the conservative community and like conservative sphere of like content creation who like men or like trans women. That's not really a problem. The funny thing is just how much like this guy's community and fan base would hate this person, would hate someone like Chud who dates this kind of person, yet here he is dating this kind of person.
My friend made a good point where she's like, yeah, bro, like you really owned your baby mama. I know it's like not base, like it's very misogynist. Just say you think it's hot, bro. Like, that's all. It's not really just how hot he was. Yo, look at this last selfie he sent me, actually, from a new faceless Grindr profile.
I'm gonna find it.
Look at this fucking picture. He's so God. I had to go digging through the text to find it, and I knew I'd send it to my friend, but I fucking screamed when I saw what she had said. Like, Dalton started messaging me on Grindr again. She said, LMAO, why the fuck is he pretty? If he wasn't like a future murderer, I'd be lit as fuck for you. Shout out my girl for being an oracle, I guess. I said that to her. She's like, on God, I never miss.
So yeah, seems like her friend almost predicted, this future of a Chud being a murderer, right? Depending on your own definition of what exactly is like going on in this trial, where we're trying to determine if Chud is indeed a murderer or like is in self-defense and all that. A lot of people are going to go, this guy was looking for trouble. That's his entire content strategy, looking for trouble, egging on things so that he can have an excuse to pull either the mace or the Glock out, right? He just wants to use his trigger, right? The idea of like this man who probably had like a crazy childhood, maybe he was bullied, maybe he went through something in life. Now that he's older, now that he has a weapon, now that he looks kind of like a Chad character, he does this stuff for content, trying to invoke racism, and it doesn't help the fact that he makes money from this, from streaming and making it into content, right?
And then I said,
neither did Chud, unfortunately. We cuddled on my couch and made out. I've struggled finding a good word for what happened next, because I think like simulated sex, it's too vague and is too specific. But at some point, I put it between his thighs. He flexed his legs together, which it's funny from like Mr. I'm not a gay bottom. Like, I remembered this. Like, this came back to me. What we did was kind of more gay.
Now, there's a lot in this video of this person talking about what they did with Chud that I'm probably going to cut because YouTube would just like age restrict the video. I don't really care about having age restricted video. I want my video to be monetized and whatnot. But they do go into a little more depth about what happened in this date and this night and the things that Chud liked to engage in. You know what I mean? And yeah. Not the straightest thing a man can do. Again, literally would be a nothing burger, literally would not be a topic worth covering if this would not Chud the Builder. And of course, there's been a slow news day, and this whole Chud the Builder stuff has been like popping up all over the internet. And this person who's decided to come out with these like allegations, which are basically proven with the photos and screenshots, that Chud likes, femboys and trans women, whatever the case may be. This person ended up also being canceled because like the left or like liberals or whatever, like they think that this person's dumb for hooking up with like this horrible, evil, racist person. So like they don't really care. It's just very interesting. This whole nothing burger is becoming more because of just the absurdity of it, right? Like it's just that absurd that it's becoming more than a dude likes trans women. For example, a few of the like viral posts, you know, about this person saying, so was she like okay with the racism, or like 1 million views, like, right? That's the type of slop you see on freaking Twitter. People are vague and they just kind of like will say something as simple as this and get 1 million views, right? Who knows? Maybe this woman also is racist, right? Maybe this person also didn't care. You know what I mean? Like this other person, Claire Bingus. This is why I constantly critique white trans feminism. Like, look at my sisters, man. Whiteness provides you such a shield that you can for real date a card-carrying Nazi as a trans woman and somehow escape mostly unharmed. With little shame, you talk about it casually on the internet. Like, again, you know, 50K views. Like, what are you even saying here? This person is trying to expose Chud the Builder, this person who, like you mentioned, is all this stuff. And also people have made, you know, comments about how he puts on this persona when in reality he's living like a double life, right? He's living this weird life where he's, you know, getting it on with trans people, but at the same time he'd go online and his supporters will think he's like the biggest Chad in the world, just got women lined up at the wazoo, when a lot of those women are trans women and that's his type. The end of the day, who knows why these women like him back, or if they care that he's racist and creates this type of content, right? The only thing that matters is this dude is probably going to prison for quite some time, and his legacy has basically been tarnished, right? This character that he's built up as like this big badass guy who will like put you down if you chimp out, he's going to prison, because that's not how the law works, and that's not how the world works when you're the one starting this. And he's also going to be known as this guy who's getting it from trans women, which is like good for the trans women, good for Chud. They all had a fun consenting time. That's going to be his legacy. And his fans who are going out of their way to like defend him wearing dresses and being on Grindr and like try to act like that stuff doesn't happen, they don't really have a leg to stand on anymore. And the whole thing is just extremely funny. Thank you for watching. Peace out, my friends. Bye.